So this is a great way to have a burger and keep it nice and light because it's got black beans and some other really fun stuff in it. So the first thing I'm going to do also has some walnuts in it. So I'm going to take some walnuts and just toast those. Anne's not going to let me burn those. So I'm going to toast those on over like low to medium heat just for a minute or two, and that's going to bring them back to life. Now we're going to also take 1 can of black beans. I'm always trying to get people to eat more beans. They're so good for you, full of protein, and it's one of those things that my kids actually like beans. They didn't used to when they were little. I remember making chili, and they'd pick every little bean out, and they'd be on the side of the bowl or the plate. Well, these days, I can do beans, and they like them, and I try and put them in more and more recipes. So I'm going to take the beans, though, and these beans come in a liquid that in most recipes, you really don't want that in there. So I just take a little colander, or if you have a little strainer, and you want to rinse and drain the beans just to get rid of all that liquid that's in the can, and then rinse it off the beans so that we've got nice fresh black beans to work with. Canned beans are also so wonderful because you don't have to take the time to, you know, boil them and soak them and all that kind of stuff. They just are so easy. You know me, I'm all about easy. Easy breezy, that's the way I roll. Okay, so we've got our black beans in here. I'm just going to check on my walnuts. Yep, looking good. And I'm actually going to first chop up my walnuts real quick. I just want to chop them up pretty fine so that you're not really going to know that the nuts are in here, but again, they're going to add some nice protein, and they're going to give this a little bit of texture. I'm going to do it one more time. I just don't want them to have a real crunch. It's just more of a texture thing. And it really works in here. It really is delicious. Okay, so there are our black beans, or our walnuts, I should say. Now we're going to start working on our black bean burger. So we're going to take our canned black beans. First, we're going to actually throw some onion, some cilantro. We're going to save some of that cilantro, some garlic, and some cumin in here. All right. And I want to really chop that up. I just want a little bit of texture in with the beans. So at this point, we're going to add our drained and rinsed black beans. I don't want to completely puree these. Oh, that cumin smells divine. All right. There we go. A little bit more. Just want to check the texture on this. You know, I'm looking to see if I can kind of make a patty. So I want to do one more time, but I don't want this to be like a real thin mixture. Perfect. Okay, now we're ready to start making the patty and putting these burgers together. So I've got a big bowl over here, and I'm just going to get out the black bean mixture and the walnuts, and it's got that great flavor with the cumin, the onion, and the garlic in there. Now we're going to do 1 egg. I'll beat that egg a little bit, and this is going to be like our binder, kind of like meatloaf. This is going to hold it all together. And then we're going to do some breadcrumbs. Just kind of depends on how many we need. I'm going to heat a little bit of oil. And we're going to throw our walnuts and our breadcrumbs in here. And again, that's going to be a great binder. So in go our walnuts, about 1/2 cup of them. And I like to go easy on the breadcrumbs. I can always add more. And I just want these to be able to kind of patty up. And this is going to make about 4 burgers, depending on the size. A little bit more breadcrumb. I'm going to do a little salt and pepper too. All right. These smell so good, and they're not even cooked yet. It's that cumin in here. A little bit more. I can just tell, just like when you're making meatloaf, you kind of know when the texture is what you're looking for. All right, so I've got some olive oil melted in a non-stick skillet. And that's real important. We love our Jejora olive oil. It's fantastic because this is going to be kind of sticky. And we're just going to patty these up. A little bit more breadcrumb. Maybe a little bit more walnut too. You can also do these as like hors d'oeuvre kind of burgers, mini burgers, and then we're going to make a wonderful salsa that's going to go on top. So it depends what type of size you're going to make them. Today we're doing entree size, but I've been to a girls' little party kind of thing where we did these as more hors d'oeuvre type size burgers. Mini burgers are, all the rage, so it's up to you. And you kind of like crab cakes almost, just patty them up. All right. And we're going to start frying them. These are kind of big burgers, so we'll do 2.
They look like burger.
They do look like burger, and like I said, I am one of those people that sometimes I like to eat a nice meal that doesn't have meat in it, Sometimes I'm just feeling that. Anne's giving me but I don't want to do a bunch of those, fake meat type of things. So this works for me. Something light, something different. So it's going to make 2 nice sized burgers or 4 smaller burgers. Or if you want to do little minis, you could probably get 6 to 8. And we're just going to fry those up a minute. And I'm going to get to work on the fresh salsa that's going to go on top of this. So we're going to keep this really light. We're not going to do ketchup on these burgers. You could certainly, take a shortcut and do like a store-bought salsa if you wanted, or sour cream, guacamole. But I thought we'd do a corn tomato salsa, being that this is a farmer's market themed show. So this is just frozen corn that we've thawed. But boy, when the sweet corn is good and fresh, that's what you're going to be wanting to use. Fresh seeded diced tomatoes. One of my favorite things to get at the farmer's market. Boy, there is, I have to say, tomatoes at the grocery store have come a long way year-round. You can usually find, grape or cherry or Roma tomatoes that are good, but there is nothing, I mean nothing, like fresh tomatoes from the farmer's market, from your garden, or from those produce stands. So, wow, use those when you can. Now, I've got a little bit of scallion or green onion here that I'm going to give a rough chop to. And if you like a little bit of a kick, just depends. We're going to do a little bit of jalapeno pepper. However, the jalapeno peppers aren't as hot as they used to be. So, especially if you get rid of the ribs and the seeds, they're just going to add some nice flavor. Just want to check on these. They're looking pretty. And that olive oil kind of helps brown them a little bit. They really do look like burgers, Anne. And they've got a lot of flavor. If you like Mexican food, you're going to like these. So we'll do a little jalapeno pepper into the salsa.
Really good.
Don't they smell good?
Mm-hmm.
And the walnut kind of acts as a binder, gives it a little bit of flavor. You could leave it out, though. If you don't do nuts, you can leave that out and just use the breadcrumbs. But it just gives it a little bit of a nice texture to it. Kind of a meaty texture.
And they're fibrous.
Yes, it's got the fiber in there. I've actually had a walnut burger and we'll have to make those on the show one day. I was really skeptical. Trust me, I was like, really? And it was fantastic. My good friend Susan Bino made one for me one time, and I was like, really? I don't know about this, but it was really good. People are looking for more different types of, burgers, some burgers that are more healthy. All right, so a little bit of fresh lime juice, and it looks like this lime is really already ready to juice. A little bit of salt. We'll do a little bit of black pepper. Some more cilantro in here. And the salsa is one of those things where if you can make it a few hours ahead and kind of let it hang out in the fridge, even better. It's going to have some more great flavor. Love the smell of fresh cilantro. So we've got cilantro in our burger, and then also in our salsa, fresh lime juice of about the half of a lime. So as you can see, this is pretty much guilt-free here. We didn't even do any cheese, although you know what, I'm thinking a piece of pepper jack cheese, that would be mighty nice in here on top of it. I don't think I've ever met a burger that didn't like a little cheese. But this is going to be kind of the cool and the crunch that's going to go on this. We've got some nice toasted buns here. Oh, this is pretty, 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 pretty. Check this out. So we're going to take our black bean burger, and then we're going to spoon some of this fresh. Now you could certainly do some sour cream, you could do some cilantro, some guacamole on top. But this is really, and it's kind of fun to have a little bit of the extra salsa for, dipping some chips. And there you go, black bean burger with a tomato corn salsa, really healthy, fresh, and something different that you can do this summer with all the wonderful things at the farmer's market.